Can we say
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Oh, this just got fun. Okay. All right.
It's interesting because you and I are like polar opposites.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, it's shut the fuck up. But the amount of shit Lynn gives me off camera.
Lots of shit.
I remember the first time you watched me shoot.
Yeah.
And I could see the just overt disappointment in your eyes.
Well, you know, I mean,
I'll try to be nice now.
Everybody's guilty. No, everybody's guilty. You know, you see a cop before you think they know how to shoot because they carry guns. Mm-hmm. You see, you know, when I started in my world of progressing, you know, it's like, okay, well, then I was a cop and I realized cops can't shoot. Well, SWAT team, they can shoot. Then I was around them. No, they can't shoot either. But the military, they can shoot. Then I was around them. It's like, no, they're even worse. So we all have this preconceived notion, you know, and it's kind of funny that it's just human nature. Yeah. You know, I mean, one of these days we're going to talk about the biggest disappointment, the biggest shock you ever had in your face. Is it funny or not? But do you have any idea?
No, I don't. I'm scared.
My! You looked at me and said, "What just happened?"
Oh, you're talking about Kanye?
Yes, Kanye.
I in my head, I'm like, should we talk about it this first? Because this one, I've already told them the story.
Okay,
but
okay.
But
I was there.
That's what I'm saying.
I was there,
so
buddy.
From your perspective, I think it'd be even better, right?
Oh man.
And I'm like, should we talk about it on this episode or another episode? And I'm like, I mean, whatever. We can go wherever we want. But I'm like, this episode of the Colion Noir podcast is brought to you by Vetter Holsters. Welcome to another episode of the Colion Noir podcast, and joining me today is Lynn. And for those of you who don't know who Lynn is, he owns that tire range that I be shooting at with all the tires. Yeah, that's him. That's him.
Yeah, I can't get rid of that name, the tire range.
The tire range.
Hey, you embrace it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, so the official name is TDSA.
It is TDSA or Texas Defensive Shooting Academy. There's some TDSAs in other states, at least in the past in other states. And the main one is here in Texas, in Dallas. So that's what the name T stands for Texas, but some of the others went but it's the same thing. Okay.
So like for me, I started out, when I first moved to Dallas, that was the first range I came across. I was searching. I was like, okay, we got to find some ranges out here. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Because I saw it. I'm like, it's nothing but tires. And I'm like, what's going on here? Do you remember the first time?
Time out. Can we say fuck?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Oh, this just got fun. Okay. All right. Yeah. And I was thinking, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, I just randomly showed up like, hey, I need a place to shoot.
Yeah.
And this looks like a place where you shoot.
Well, you tried to explain to me what you were doing, and that's a while. But how many years ago? Do you know? It's been a long time.
It's been at least 10 years.
Yeah. So 10 years ago, podcasters, different game. You're doing what? You're
those YouTubers. That's when being a YouTuber is like, what? You're a tuber?
Yeah, well, it's like, my standard questions, and I ask these to all the people that want to be Colions, and I've had a few, as you can imagine. It's like, I'm going to go there, right? That's where he got started. You got any military background? No. You got any law enforcement background? No. Any competitive shooting background? Then why the hell is anybody going to care what you think about guns? And I've asked that to some younger people or some newer people. As a matter of fact, I told one nice guy, and I won't say his name. He's probably still out there doing it. And I think he was ex-football or a little bit of football, not maybe college ball anyway. So, and I said, "Isn't America great?" He goes, "What?" I said, "Isn't America great?" He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "You have no law enforcement, no military, no competitive shooting. Why the hell should anybody give a shit what you think about guns? But you're making money doing it. That's America. That's great, man."
All right. So I've got to give a quick shout out to Vetter Holsters. They're now sponsoring the podcast. I've been using their light tuck kydex inside the waistband holster, and what I really like is how adjustable it is. You can tweak the ride height and cant to get it exactly how you want. Plus, they've got holsters for over 450 gun models in 75 different colors, so you can pretty much find whatever you need. But here's the thing that really sets them apart: their customer service. I've heard so many stories about how they've gone above and beyond to make sure you're happy with your holster. And with a lifetime warranty and a 30-day money-back guarantee, it's clear they stand behind their products. If you're in the market for a great holster, check them out at betterholsters.com. I think a lot of it has to do with relatability, right? Because I think there's some people who want to be able, because when you get into the gun space as somebody who really had no background either, like when I come to you, I've had considerable experience at that point. And we'll talk about it later, but you refined my shooting ability to a point where now I can confidently look at people and like, fuck you, I can shoot. But I think with a lot of people, it's almost intimidating sometimes when you're dealing with a full-blown expert. And so sometimes you want to hear what a regular person's experience has been with a particular platform to say, okay, well, this is why I like this gun, and then maybe you will like this gun. And I always implore people all the time, don't just watch one person and then use that as your basis. Like, aggregate information from a bunch of people. So then go watch the same video about that same gun from somebody who is an expert. And then you can compare it, and you can compare and contrast, and then take all that information in to then make your decision.
Yeah, I think it's a double-edged sword a little bit. There was an instructing group that actually their motto or their comments were, we spend $40,000 a year, and it really was, we spend $40,000 a year taking classes from everybody else so you don't have to. We're going to incorporate all that, take the best of everything, and we're going to teach class. And, there's a double-edged sword. If you listen to everybody, then you may not follow one system, so...
Well, are we talking about purchasing firearms, or are we talking about training?
Training right now.
Okay.
Yeah, training right now. Okay. But, I used to work, and I don't know if I even told you this, I used to work at Oshman's Sporting Goods store in the gun county.
Holy!
Yes. I walked. I was in high school and getting out of high school, going to college, and I knew almost nothing about guns, which meant I knew more than I said almost nothing. So they gave me the job, and it was amazing to see that people come into Oshman's Sporting Goods store in Redbird Mall, then Southwest Center Mall, or whatever it's called now. And they literally I'd see people look at a gun, and what really got me is they would look at it from the opposite. They want to see what it looked like in their hand. I swear. And I'm like, by the time the second person did that, I'm like, that's what they're doing. That. And some lady walked in and said, well, no, I need some more of these. And I said, well, ma'am, that's a magazine. She goes, well, no, the bullets. I need the bullets. I said, what do you mean? She said, well, I'm out. You think you buy the magazine with bullets in there? She goes, well, yeah. No, ma'am, you buy the ammunition that goes in the magazine that you put. So, it's amazing that there's people that have such little knowledge of it, and it makes sense. It's kind of like cops. Just because they carry guns don't mean they know really how to use them. Yeah. Sadly, it's kind of like everybody's got a car, but they're not a race car driver. Yeah.
Yep, that's perfect, actually. What's funny is I remember when, it's interesting because you and I are like polar opposites.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, it's shut the fuck up.
That's one of my favorite things to do, man.
But even like from our perspective on guns, like a lot of people don't realize, I'm talking to you guys now so y'all understand our dynamic, right? Like, the amount of shit that, like, Lynn likes to be nice to me in public, like when people are around, but the amount of shit Lynn gives me off camera.
Lots of shit.
But I love it. And I remember the first time you watched me shoot.
Yeah.
And I could see the just overt disappointment in your eyes.
Well, I mean,
don't try to be nice now.
Everybody's guilty. No, everybody's guilty. You see a cop before you think they know how to shoot because they carry guns. Mm-hmm. You see, when I started in my world of progressing, it's like, okay, well, when I was a cop and I realized cops can't shoot. Well, SWAT team, they can shoot. Then I was around them. No, they can't shoot either. But the military, they can shoot. Then I was around them. It's like, no, they're even worse. So we all have this preconceived notion, and it's kind of funny that it's just human nature. Yeah. I mean, one of these days we're going to talk about the biggest disappointment, the biggest shock you ever had in your face. Is it funny or not? But do you have any idea?
No, I don't. I'm scared.
You looked at me and said, what just happened?
Oh, you're talking about Kanye.
Yes, Kanye.
In my head, I'm like, should we talk about it this first? Because this one, I've already told them the story. But no.
I was there.
That's what I'm saying.
I was there,
so
buddy.
From your perspective, I think it'd be even better, right?
Oh, man.
And I'm like, should we talk about it on this episode or another episode? And I'm like, I mean, whatever. We can go wherever we want, but I'm like...
Well, yeah, and this is for everything that you do. Nobody's an expert or experienced until they get it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's kind of like you know how to shoot, okay, but can you teach somebody how to shoot? Can you whatever? And I saw the look in his face. Now, I've never met the man, you know, never, since then, boy, never met the man. And I could tell in the first 2 minutes that your explanations were going to be a problem. You were, you were imparting knowledge.
We talked about that.
You were imparting knowledge.
Think,
he was here. I'm here to shoot.
Yeah.
You know, I'm here to shoot. We're here to whatever. And I don't know if you noticed, but I was like, oh shit, I better intercede real quick. Hey man, you want something to drink? He says, no, so, man, I got Nas. Nas is like crack. He smiled. He goes, I'll take some. And he took it, but I was trying to like lighten the mood. But and I think that he's got a disorder too.
I bored him.
But I forget. Well, but he does. Is he? What is it? What the conditions he have?
I don't know.
No, he really has a condition.
Yeah. Oh, it's called Kanye.
Okay, well it could be, but yeah, I mean they get bored really quick, you know, and that's what happened, and but the way it all just unfolded,
which was funny though because the people he was with, they were like, they were interested, they're all about it, and then I like
his entourage,
I picked up on it late. I picked up on it the moment the guy came up to me and was like I saw him. Actually, I picked up on him. He walked out of the fucking room.
Yeah,
and so I was like,
something's going on.
I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They literally all just said, we've got to go. And they all of them in a line went left face and walked out. It was like they rehearsed it, you know. Probably that's not the first time they've ever done that to somebody.
So what I realized is he does that.
Oh, yeah.
He does that. And he picks and chooses who he does it to, but he does it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man. Because I remember talking to you. I'm like, look, Kanye wants to come out here. Initially, I think I was like, you should teach him. And you're like, no, it's your thing.
Yeah.
And so you're like, I'll just sit in the back.
You're the man.
And just,
Yeah, if I can help, I will.
Yeah, because I can teach. Now I'm at a point where I feel like somebody who knows nothing, I can get them to a point where they're like not killing people on accident.
Oh, better than that. But
right?
Yeah.
But the vast majority of my instructing was by and large mimicking you.
Okay.
Right. But the thing about it is I'm an explainer, as you know that. Like you. Yeah. Right. So I overly analyze, over analytical about my discussions, and so that's not
your descriptions are unique.
Yeah.
You know, true, I mean, it's if you're not in tune with that, you're like, what? How again is Beyonce's backside related to this firearm? I'm like, oh, that's not my generation right there, you know. But you know, you resonated with a lot of people, and obviously, look at here, you know, good for you. You know, it's awesome.
But it's different when you're instructing though. It's totally different because I don't have this because I'm a great instructor. Well, you get what I'm saying?
I and over the years, it's that was not your strong suit. Your strong suit was you forgot about the legal part. You know, the legal part really interests a lot of people. You know, and I've got some experience, obviously, from the police side and working with lawyers. But I think that in your colorful descriptions, you know, really hits home with a lot of people, and we've talked about that over the years. Yeah, it's so funny.
You're like, what?
Oh yeah, exactly. It's like, oh shit, here we go.
I mean, you're a Glock ideologue, so there's that too.
You know, and it's not perfect, and probably nothing is. It's just really close to perfect, and it was early on. Yeah. So all the improvements, you know, in some other guns, the grip angle of a Glock is probably one of the most different things for people, and I'm really experiencing that, trying to figure out how to teach red dot shooting to a lot of people now. I'm not a big red dot fan, and that's
really I never knew that about you.
Yeah, I'm not a big no shit.
Oh shit, hold on now.
Yeah, I remember you know, one of the goofiest red dots you ever brought out was like a straw.
About the little tiny one from Leopold.
Yeah. Can we say that, Leopold? Can we say Leopold? Okay. All right, just checking, because I'm like, okay, well, I don't want you to lose any money, but yeah, I was thinking, what freaking idiot thought of that? I mean, that is the dumbest freaking thing I have ever seen.
Have you seen the SAS? That'd
be the British for me, but yeah. I've actually trained SBS, so that's why when I think of those cool guys.
The P365 SAS. Like, remember they came out with this like snagless sighting system. I have it actually.
Is that the one that's is it cut out in the slide?
It's like cut out in the slide. And
well,
it's
they've
like
had that for a long time ago.
So yeah, so
like Detonics, I think, had that. A long time ago.
So from my perspective, that's how I approached it. It was that, and so from that perspective, I just treated it like irons. And then when I treated it like irons, it was the dots right there. Now keep in mind, I don't like micro red dots.
Why is that?
Well, because they're too small.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
but
let's come
people
up with
love
something
them.
even smaller.
But people love them
because they don't shoot worth shit.
Well, I would. Okay.
Or they take forever to shoot.
So tell me if I'm wrong about this, right?
Yeah.
So now you're about to see the real Colion Noir.
Oh, we'll bring it.
So, all right. So, me personally, from a distance, I'll take a red dot any day.
Sure, everybody will,
right?
Because you got plenty of time to shoot.
But no, but even if I had plenty of time to shoot with irons, I would still prefer a red dot. Even if
easier.
it was yes, it's a cheat code.
If you're shooting slow, if you're shooting
but
fast,
if you're shooting
you can't find the shit.
Time. Okay,
exactly.
I'll give you that. So,
okay, all right. So here is after quite a long time I'm thinking about this and talking to people. Here's the deal. And matter of fact, there's one guy that it's pretty popular now, McPhee. And very entertaining individual. Obviously, he's earned his salt, killing a lot of people, in the war. So he's trying to make his money in the civilian side, and it's a different world. But anyway, I listened to him one time talk, and he's got a lot of the same philosophy that I have. So in the beginning, everybody wants to buy equipment and get better. It's just, you don't want to work out; you want to take a pill.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Give me a pill. I'll lose weight. I'll look great. They don't do the hard work. So you get a dot. You put it on the gun.
Tactical Ozempic.
Yeah, you get a dot. You put it on the gun. You can't find it. So if you get a dot, put it in your holster. You are at a disadvantage. If iron sights is where you were, a dot is harder. So now you have made your shooting
at close
harder.
distance, within closer distance.
Yeah, in a gunfight.
Yeah.
Gunfight's 5 to 7 feet on average.
Yeah.
That's it may change within a few feet, but right now it's 5 to 7 feet, 8 feet, whatever. So you are at a disadvantage if you're trying to aim the gun like iron sights because you have no training whatsoever. At some point, ammunition and time, you're even. Okay? And then eventually, through more training, more ammunition, you're better. So you can turn a red dot into an advantage eventually. But in the beginning, it's negative.
Yes.
So you know what I'm saying? So everybody, and I have them all the time. There's a very well-known gun store who I love to death out here that sends me some clientele, and they love red dots because red dots are cool. But they take the time in the gun store and go, yeah, look how easy that is. That's not the same as bringing it up and shooting.
No.
Where's it at? Exactly. Where's it at?
I want to argue with you so bad, but you're
it's true. Yeah. It's true. Just like I was watching some really good shooter this morning talk about, no, you want to stand straight up and shoot because you want to have your head up and everything. It's like, and this one really, you got to really take a hard look at it and go, look, there's pluses and minuses of everything. Yes, standing perfectly erect and shooting your head up, you can see better without a doubt. But if you stand straight up and you have something pushing you back, especially if you're not a heavy person, it's going to make you rock back some. Well, if you're only shooting one shot, that's not a big deal. You're shooting multiple shots and you start to get off balance. So, everything's a trade-off. I'm a competitive shooter was a competitive shooter and law enforcement.
So
and trained military.
There are going to be people here who are like, who the fuck is this guy? He owns a range. What the hell is he talking about?
Oh, yeah.
So
range owners can't shoot for shit.
Yeah.
Most
I've
of them.
noticed.
Yeah.
I know you.
Yeah.
So.
Ouch. That would hurt me.
So just give people a brief background, just your shooting background, just so people understand. Yeah.
Sure. When I grew up, I was a poor, loaded white kid growing up, spent summers on the farm. But matter of fact, I did actually, I grew up without a father. My dad passed away when I was young, so I went out to East Texas and got to spend some time on the farm, shot shotguns and 22s. Never shot handguns because a lot of people a long time ago, handguns are for shooting people. That's not that's not what we do.
I never knew that was the kind of sentiment.
Because you don't shoot an animal with a handgun, unless you're very specific and you really want to do it uniquely. But shotguns, birds, shooting squirrels, shooting whatever. So there was no real need for handguns, so I never did it. So that was my experience in handguns, or guns rather, growing up. Then when I was in high school and needed a job. Actually, just getting out of high school, needed a job. I started working for Oshman Sporting Goods store.
Yeah.
Okay, and while I was there, I met a guy that said, "Hey, man, I shoot competition." I was like, "What's that?" He goes, "Oh man, you got to shoot. It's over here in Duncanville." So I went to Duncanville and then started going to Target Master up in North Dallas, and started shooting USPSA.
Okay.
Which is the United States
Pistol Shooting Association, something like that.
United States Practical Shooting Association, USPSA, which is the United States version of IPSC International. So IPSC, which is all the states and all the countries everywhere. So that's like the grandfather of pistol, combat pistol, you might say, but there's a lot more to it than combat. But that's what people used to think of it as a long time ago. And then the guns got all racy with ports and red dots and all sort of stuff. Well, it's kind of like race cars, really. You know, it's like stock car started like this, and then there's all the way up to funny car, you know, Formula One. But yeah, and some people like the simplicity of just having a stock pistol, and some people like the fun of race rigging it out and spending, you know, now you can spend $10,000-$15,000 on a pistol and a rig. Yeah. So, but they still shoot bullets. But and there's nothing better than beating somebody with a $15,000 gun with a $500 Glock. Just saying. It really pisses them off, you know. But it's not easy to do, but it can be done. So, but anyway, so that was the introduction into the shooting sports. And then I'll give the whole story. And then when I was at night at dinner after a USPSA match, I walked in, had my girlfriend with me, walked in to a dinner, and there was some guys breaking into cars in the parking lot. And I walked in, and there was like 10, 12 guys sitting down. And I said, "Hey, guys, there's two guys breaking into our cars in the parking lot." And two cops jumped up and ran out. Two of my good buddies jumped up and ran out. Both of them off duty. One Dallas cop, one Seagoville cop.
Yeah.
Okay. Matter of fact, the Dallas cop was a sniper, and he actually shot the gorilla. So if you know who that is out there, Tony, so shout out to you. And
hold on, that sounded racist. What happened?
It was a real gorilla.
Okay, because I got a little nervous for a second.
No, careful now, back down. I mean, I guess technically it was black, but it could have been silver. Shit, I wasn't there. But no, he actually shot the gorilla.
Are you talking about Hombre, or whatever the famous gorilla that?
In Dallas? No. That's the one up north. No. This one actually got loose, and I think it ripped the arm off of one of the handlers, a female. Yeah, so it was kind of sad. You're going to Google that, aren't you?
There he is.
There you go. Yeah, Tony Black was a shooter on that, and I always say Tony had a big set because he stood there his first round with his. I had no idea that Dallas, and I was Dallas. Yeah. The snipers have zoo guns in their trunks.
Oh, to deal with the potential.
Yes, we have.
Well,
we have zoo. We have zoo.
Yeah.
You have also African elements.
Don't we have like some of the large populations of exotic animals here in Texas?
Well, yeah, but
in Oklahoma, I can't remember.
Well, I don't know, but those generally you can shoot those with a 300, 308 or whatever. Yeah. But we're talking when you get to elephants and lions, and tigers and bears. Oh my, you need the big ass shit. Gotcha. And I had no idea.
Yeah, my dumbass thinks a 308 can solve everything.
Everything talks to us. Yeah, you know. I mean, but anyway, man, my mind goes crazy. No, well, you know what they take pigs out with? We're shooting 300.
Yeah, so you were talking about the guys. Yeah, you were talking about the guys who were breaking into cars and then the two.
Yeah. So anyway, and my two buddies jumped up and ran out. And I'm just like, come on, everybody. All these guys used to go, well, you know, I have a gun prior to LTC and CHL. If the cops ever needed help, well, I'd be right there to help them. They're trying to boost themselves up, their egos or whatever. This is it. This is the time that these are our real friends out there by themselves. And there was at least two bad guys. And I went, holy crap, these guys... I heard a lot of this, but I saw no action, and I went out there, you know, and that's when it just went through my head. You're either part of the solution or part of the problem. So after that night, I decided I was going to be a cop. That night, one of my buddies was Dallas, and that was the year that 6 Dallas cops were killed. I think it was 6. It was like the worst year for the Dallas Police Department as far as losing, other than the recent. Yeah. But and I'm like, you know what? Seagoville looks awful good to me. So I went to work for Seagoville, started off as a reserve. Yeah, how about that? And then I fell in love with it as a reserve, and then I went to Dallas full time. So that was how. And then I left shooting civilian competition. It was I was shooting a USPSA then. And then I left and went into law enforcement competition. Dallas County had a little easy sport they had. It was kind of just low key stuff. Local agencies shot, some feds shot, and I was one of the top shooters out there because I used to shoot civilian competition.
Gotcha.
Because it's a world of difference civilian and law enforcement, and loved it. And then ended up, like I said, going to Dallas. And then shooting that, and then I went to the shooting range and was teaching out there a little bit, the shooting range, before I left. And that's another story that we'll have to have a lot of time to answer. And we'll put a pin in that because if it
there's so much shit we've known each other for so
really
long.
Big, if it gets really big, it's going to be when you start talking about there's movie crews that are producers that want to make that. So anyway, so that was my competitive shooting up until I left the police department. And when I left the police department, I started the gun range. I started with $500.
I never asked you how the range got started, ever.
It's because I needed a job, and I loved, and I hated mowing yards. I was mowing yards, guys, and I hate to mow yards, man.
But okay, so then explain to me where the thought came in to utilize tires.
Everybody wants to know that.
Yeah.
Well, first off, I started the range with $500. I sold my 1911. I put $500 down on the property. It was owner finance.
What a time to be alive.
I know, $500, 20-year note. Hey, and interest rate was like 10%, brother. So, man. So, hey, I paid for it. Yeah. So, 20-year note, $500. I sold my 1911 pistol, which was painful, to pay to move a trailer, the office, a long time ago before you were there, and I sold my Mustang convertible to buy said trailer, and that's how it started. And we built one berm, and out in the middle of nowhere, buddy, and from there it just slowly progressed, and then I got the idea of using tires first, scrap tires, to build a gun range, and we did a deal with a local recycler to bring in tires. That led to being wrapped up into a 6-year lawsuit with the state of Texas. I was sued for $80,000 for, I love this, illegally dumping tires. I was illegally dumping scrap tires on my property and inviting law enforcement out to shoot. So no kidding. This is an example of how government agencies or government agents have a ego problem. Yeah. He was mad, and he, in my opinion, and he wanted to get me. He wanted to whatever, and he even claimed I love this. As a lawyer, listen to this crap. He tells me years later, he goes, "Well, I filed felony dumping charges on you." I'm like, wow, that's pretty bad. He goes, yeah, but the DA's office lost the paperwork. Yeah, exactly. If y'all are looking at his face, that face says it all. It's like, what? As soon as he said that shit on the phone, I'm like, oh, translation, you tried to get them to take it, and they said, what? You want us to prove he's illegally he's intending, the intent is to dump illegal tires, and then he invites all these law enforcement out to shoot. Yeah. I don't think we're going to go with that, but thank you very much.
Legally dumping tires on a property that has a LLC or business on it?
Well,
I don't know what your structure is. I'm just assuming. But I mean, it's like.
Well, then the state got involved because I got taken advantage of by the local recycler. They our deal was, hey, we're gonna bring scrap tires down there. We're gonna mix them with dirt, and we're gonna build some berms that are really solid. It's a really good idea. And matter of fact, it even was published in some national information brochure or whatever. I can't think of it, but it's actually kind of big. But so anyway, they were supposed to bring in their heavy equipment down there and build them for me. So they brought the tire shreds down there. It was tire shreds, and I had them outline them in a berm. And they fired the manager and said, "You're on your own, buddy. We're not doing that." Oh yeah, and left me high and dry. And thank goodness that we were using the tire shreds to shoot into. We were using them. And I had a local agency, a lieutenant. I was sued for $80,000 by the state. And a local lieutenant, and I asked him, hey, do you feel comfortable saying that, y'all are getting a benefit from shooting into these tires? He goes, yeah, we are. We're shooting into them. So, yeah, it's a benefit for us. Yeah. He writes me a letter. You should have seen the look on their face when I had a police department's statement that it was a benefit to their agency to have the tire shreds there. Oh, it was like I ran over their puppy. I mean, it was bad. It was bad, you know. And the funny part is I wasn't really trying to scam anybody.
Yeah.
I get their thought process. Here's somebody trying to illegally dump or make money or do scam or whatever. It's like, no, I'm wanting to build a gun range.
Yeah.
I'm wanting to build a gun range, and I don't have the funds. You know, I didn't borrow any money. Yeah. You know, it's all been a very slow process, and the tires have worked out really well for me. It's pluses and minuses. Yeah. You know, you know, you see the fire extinguishers all the way around the range. We got our own fire truck. You know,
they're an amazing habitat.
yeah, no kidding. And
I'll say this much: during the winter, there's no better place to be.
Mosquitoes.
Well, if it rains.
Well, it's actually we are in the river bottoms, so that everybody goes, it's the tires.
Yeah, no,
not the fact that we're in the river bottoms. You know,
it took me a second to learn that, honestly, because I used to think it was the tires too.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh no, it's just because, you know.
Yeah, and I spray the tires too. So you know, it's just, you know, you want to try to make the best environment you can for the people to have a good time. Yeah. But yeah, it's you know, it's. Man, I'll tell you what. Speaking of the tires, the day that the oh yeah, and by the way, and I won the lawsuit. I represent. You'll love this. There you go. Represented myself.
This sounds very Lynn.
Yes.
Yeah, nothing about that surprises me.
Screw lawyers. Lawyer trash. But I tell you what, when you need one, they're your best buddy, though. We all make fun of lawyers. It's I need one.
That's why we just ignore y'all when y'all say shit like that.
Yeah. Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny. The times I've needed one, I'm glad you're here, man. But
so you get that bill.
Oh yeah. But so no, I represented myself down in Austin and beat the living shit out of 2 attorneys. And a buddy of mine from Venezuela, he's a very high-end lawyer in Venezuela. Matter of fact, he married Miss Runner-Up to Miss America. Miss Runner-Up, Miss America is Venezuelan, and he married her. And after I knew him, it's like, hey, how come you had to settle for second best, man? I know, right? And it's no Rayleigh Rodriguez. You can look her up. He actually won, buddy. That was the case that number 2 was the winner. So, and Carell is an awesome individual too. He called me up. They put my case on podcast or something live. He saw me representing myself for in Austin. I kicked the shit out of 2 lawyers for the state of Texas. I had on the stand, you can appreciate this, on the stand, they were saying that I violated all this and violated all that. And the statutes and it was illegal and all sorts of stuff. And then the lead investigator for the state of Texas, I'm just going to say Cynthia's her name, and Cynthia's on the stand, and she said something, you know, there's nothing in the code. I mean, everybody in the courtroom was like, what? Look at the judge. Look at it. Excuse me, ma'am, because I'm representing myself. I'm acting as my own lawyer. I said, could you repeat your last response? She takes a big breath and goes, there's nothing in the code that requires you to mix the tires with dirt, which is what they were suing me for. And it's like everybody in the courtroom wanted to say, then why the hell are we all here? And it went downhill from there. I objected 18 times in that one day trial. The judge ruled in my favor 16 of the 18 times. I beat the shit out of 2 attorneys. They were so flustered. That, you know, it's like, isn't it true? Objection, Your Honor. Leading, sustained. And then she's so flustered, she comes back. Okay, but isn't it true? Objection, Your Honor. Counsel's leading the witness. The judge says sustained, leans across the bench and says, ma'am, that's your witness. You can't ask your witness leading questions. How must that feel as a lawyer to be called down in front of a pro se defendant that's kicking your ass?
I mean, if you don't,
it's awesome.
If you don't understand the basic principle of
cool.
not leading your witness,
that's day one.
Yeah,
that's day one. You learn that watching Perry Mason. I'm telling you, it's awesome. And it was great. At the end of the trial, the judge looked at me and said, at the end of the trial, I was like, Mr. Baxley, do you have any legal experience? I almost, because I'll do anything for a joke. I mean, I'll get myself in trouble. I'll talk myself out of the P word, you know, getting some. But, and I almost said, no, Your Honor, but I do watch Judge Judy weekly. But I went, nope, I'm winning. Let's not piss anybody off.
Let's not do that.
I did tell the lawyer, I said, you must be new. And she got pissed. She goes, I've been here 7 years. I went, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it.
I wouldn't admit that.
I know. I just said I'm sorry. But anyways, it all ended up with the state of Texas, the 5 commissioners. I didn't know this. There's 5 commissioners for the state of Texas that handle lawsuits or problems between cities. I mean, big shit. And they all thanked me for my efforts in recycling to help out the citizens of Dallas County. Holy shit. I held the door of the courtroom open. I held it open for the investigator. Dude, it was the best day ever, man. I've won national titles in shooting, an international championship down in Venezuela, and that was the best day. I don't have kids, so nobody thinks, so what about your child's birth? Didn't have one of those, so yeah, not that I know of. But
now that I think about it, I think that attorney thought you were an imbecile. Because usually people who represent themselves are imbeciles. Yeah. And so she probably thought
she didn't see it coming.
She thought she can get away with leading the witness, doing basic shit.
Yeah, she didn't see it coming.
And then she was like, I think she couldn't rationalize in her mind, like he knows what he's doing. And so she kept trying to do it over and over and over and over again. And it's just,
well, in her defense, we started off with the judge says, Mr. Baxley, before the court case started, Mr. Baxley, the state's got some questions. They're called admissions. They'd like to ask you. Now, you don't have to admit to them, but if you like, I said, whatever I can do, Your Honor, to make it better. Oh, I was like, zzz. And I said, sure. They said, Mr. Baxter, would you admit that your property is in Dallas County in the state of Texas? Well, yes. Would you admit that you didn't have a permit to do that? Well, yeah, I didn't have a permit. Would you admit that these tires are on your property? Yeah. So she's like checking them off. Yeah. Would you admit that you're in violation? I probably don't want to admit to that one. And that's how you're exactly right, Colion. I think she thought that, I got this is a fish on the line. Yep. But who had the freaking rod and who was the hook, But yeah, it was awesome. It was the best day. You know what? I told you I wanted to be a lawyer growing up, didn't I? Yeah, that's what I wanted to be growing up. Yeah.
And I can see it. I think a lot of people misunderstand about being a lawyer. Like they think it's all about the legalese, the codes and stuff. Practical knowledge and people who just inherently have a base knowledge of life and understanding and the way the world works usually make the best attorneys, especially trial attorneys. There's one thing I've learned very consistent in trial attorneys. It's not their understanding of legalese or the legal system. Yeah. It has everything to do with they have a fundamental understanding of life and the way it works and the world around them. And when you have a grasp of that, typically you can pretty much slaughter people in court.
Well, especially if there's not an ulterior motive going on behind the scenes. There's not the what do you say that there's not a thumb on the scale.
Yeah. Yes.
I try to use those terms, the fruits of the poisonous tree, all those legal terms, throw a few in. But
people think because they learn information in law school that they're smarter than everybody, and that's not how that works. You just memorize some shit and you can regurgitate it.
And now with AI coming, did you know somebody tried to actually defend themselves with AI?
Really?
Somebody actually tried, and the judge like, no. But it's coming. Yeah. It's coming. But so that's the background of the range. How I got the tires. No, well, the tires came out. No, the tire bales. That's different than that. Yeah. I was already in the tires, and then I'm like, this isn't going fast enough with the tire shreds and whatever.
Yeah.
I looked around. There was a Canadian gun range that had like 50 tire bales on it. 50. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what is this? Let's look into this. Yeah. And then, of course, this is about I'm broke and I want to build a gun range, and I figured it out. And I mortgaged my house, man. I sold everything I had, and I bought a tire baling machine, and I bought a skid steer, and I was all in, man. Yeah. Jay Leno said one time the best advice he gives to a stand-up comedian is never get a day job, because if you're used to the money, then you won't risk it. Yep. You'll go the easy route, which is not easy, but it's easier, safer. Yeah. So I was all in, man. And there was a whole lot of people said you're an idiot, and I was. There was times, There was times. I mean, I remember one time, I almost quit the gun range one time. I was before the tires came. I'm in the floodplain, so I've got mud, which that's a plus and a minus. People don't realize, because it's not the land. Oh crap! There we are. There you go, guys. I don't know if you can see that online, but yeah, I got a few tires. Everybody asks me how many tires and I always look at my.
They're just
Yeah,
so neat
and I always ask them. I said, I've got about 1,343,641, and they go, really? And I say, no. You really think? Give me that gun, you know.
I'm
But
not
no.
gonna lie to you. If Lynn had told me that, I'd be like, wait, really?
Believe it or not, you can actually do the math. Each bale is about 85 tires,
Gotcha.
and you can actually do the math on that. But yeah, and that's and we're always improving it. We're always tweaking it a little bit. We can move bales around.
Place the street.
Yeah, there's a street. There's your street. Colion Alley right there. Oh, I'm telling you. You know,
the fucking history, man.
I know and yeah, it's funny. I remember when I started flying gyroplanes, man. I remember I was flying over you one time. That was pretty cool. It's like, look at that crazy white guy in the sky.
Lynn
Look
has
at
lost
that.
his damn
Shit.
mind.
You know,
but I've never seen a man happier.
I'm telling you, yeah, it's you know what they say, right before you die, you're having a lot of fun. No shit.
That's
So
some very white people.
but
shit.
that's isn't that funny? All the jokes are so funny because there's so much truth in shit. That's what makes it funny.
Yeah.
But so that's how the tire bales came. How to build a gun range, and it was a great thing. It's not all plus. It's not all positives, but there's more positives than negatives. And it's allowed me to do a lot of things that I wouldn't have been able to do without government money. I haven't borrowed any money. I don't have any partners. So yeah, it's kind of like all me. But
I mean, I've had some of my best moments out there. Like when it's like during the week, it's completely empty. Weather's fucking perfect. And I've been,
during the week,
and I'll come out and I'll say, hey, I'm just gonna be out here shooting,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll be out there for fucking hours, man. And it's just up and down that street, just.
And that's where we met the first time too. So that's another moment for you.
Yeah, that was a good moment.
I don't remember meeting him for the first time.
We.
Yeah, you did. I have the picture.
Peter, have you been on camera yet?
No, well, once or twice.
Okay,
Maybe.
so they're going to get this joke, right? So I'm up, and I told.
I mean, they know he's Asian.
Okay, good. Well, that's essential to the joke here, right? That's essential to the joke. So I'm up in North Dallas, and at a salad place, of course, salad place, sitting down, and Peter walks in with his girlfriend or wife at the time.
Girlfriend at the time.
Okay, girl at the time. Anyway, so he walks in, and I'm looking at him. He's looking at me, and I'm like, I think I know him, but he's Asian, and they all look alike. So I'm not, and he's saying he told me later on. He's saying the same thing. I think I know that white guy, but they all look alike. Oh.
And then I slowly, kind of walked up to him, or hey, are you? Yeah. And then it was like, bro, I thought you're just a regular white guy, but I was like, I think I know, but I didn't want to assume.
I know. And we've had more. I think we've had more fun jokes around about race and no shooting and whatever.
We'd have an amazing podcast on range. We would just be canceled in 3 days.
Oh man, I remember. My favorite one. My favorite one is I don't know if you're in your G-Wagon or whatever, but you had your tunes cranked up. Yeah, you know where I'm going with this. Cranked up. And I'm about halfway down the range, and I'm yelling, hey, turn that black music down. You're scaring the white folk. I know. It's like, one of my ex-girlfriends is black. It's just like, dude, that is funny, man. That is funny. It's like calling a big guy tiny. It's funny.
You do hate on my vehicles. That's a funny
man. Well,
when I got my T-Rex, I was for sure Lynn's going to see this and say, you know what? It's about damn time you got to be.
Your T-Rex is not a white guy T-Rex.
Well, what he didn't, I didn't talk to everybody, but I had 2 Rams.
Yeah.
And both of them had gas problems, so much so that they paid me. They paid me $8,000 to settle the case, and I was not happy about Dodge Ram.
I remember that.
Oh yeah. So I'm like, whoa, that sucks. But almost everything is getting bad. There's it's not like old Toyotas anymore.
Hell no.
But so that's the tire bales. That's the range. My background, of course, is competitive. Well, growing up with guns in East Texas, but not really much, because my father didn't have a father, so just shot a little bit. Came back, worked at the Oshman's Sporting Goods store, started shooting USPSA, had fun with that, went from USPSA to law enforcement, from law enforcement to law enforcement shooting to the gun range to owning my gun range, and then shooting IDPA. And IDPA was a new sport at the time. And so, if you're trying to teach shooting, USPSA people just buy faster guns.
Okay.
I mean, that's just it.
Yeah.
And they do take some training, but new shooters, IDPA shooters, more tactical self-defense shooters mindset, they want training. So that's where trainers gravitated to. So I gravitated towards that. Did shoot competition still, and did pretty well. I won 6 or 8 state championships in IDPA, and a couple Midwest Spring Nationals up in Missouri. Shot the fastest time in 2 nationals. Don't have the titles to prove it, but politics are a bitch. And they lost my score sheets one year, and they gave me a cheating penalty hours after the match was over with the second year.
Well, did you cheat?
Oh, no. Matter of fact, they gave me one penalty in the match because oh my God, it's just, politics are great. Of course, politics is just another name for assholes in leadership. But anyway, so when that cheating penalty, or when that penalty wasn't enough to knock me out of first place, they gave me a cheating penalty. I was the first one to ever get a cheating penalty in IDPA Nationals. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Of course it would be you.
I'm telling you, yeah.
Of course it would be you.
They came up with a reloading rule because of me too. It's funny. We can't do that. Why not? It was in the rules the next year. What's funny is I did something different. Basically, I pulled my magazine out before it's time to reload, and all the other national champion level shooters, they would just accidentally need to shoot an extra shot in order they can reload quicker. So they intentionally missed a shot, and I didn't want to intentionally miss. I'm just going to pull my magazine out and reload quicker. Yeah, so they had more of a problem with me doing that than everybody else, because you can't prove that they missed a shot. You're a nationally ranked shooter. The target is 15 to 10 feet in front of you. You got 2 in the middle and 1 somewhere off the target. I think it's pretty obvious you missed on purpose, brother. Well, I'll call him out. I watched the owner, the leader of IDPA, cheat on his own range. Threw a round off. Saw him. Just like it was yesterday. It's like, really? You invented this sport and you just dumped around in the Arkansas State Championship on your own personal range. Yeah, but now they came up with a rule the year after that you couldn't access your magazine. So so that was fun. But you know what? Really, the cool part about all the competition is it opened the door to train military, and I really enjoyed training military. Matter of fact, I worked my way up to training special forces, and after about 8 or 9 years of training one specific 3rd group team, they made me an honorary team member. So that's really cool. Yeah, I kind of thought, they must do this to everybody, and then literally it's like they were reading my mind, because about 10 minutes later, the warrant officer came back and said, now, you do realize, Lynn, that we just don't do this to anybody. Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yeah. So, I try to keep that a secret a little bit. And matter of fact, that was one thing that impressed the team when I would go back and work with them, is that the new team members that come on, it's like, you got a what? You got an honorary team guy? He teaches how to shoot. No shit. We've never heard of him. That actually impressed them, that I didn't go out and just post it all over the internet that, I'm an honorary team guy, and that actually helped give me some respect on the team.
So, video about it.
well, and then finally they said, "Hey, man, we gave you that to tell people, that." So I talk a little bit about it, but not much. But it's a great honor. Matter of fact, my team 362 when I was brought on is now 3232, but 362 was the team that pulled Marcus Luttrell out of the mountains. And I heard a helicopter pilot make a comment about that. I'm like, is he going to say it? Is he going to say it? Because part of me is going, my team lied to me that wasn't them. You never know. They were in the area. And he literally says, that was a special forces team. Not everybody knows that that's 362. Yes! My bros, But anyway, so that's pretty cool. Small world, man.
Yeah.
It's a small world, and it's like in anything, I guess. The better you get in one area, you start knowing everybody. Yep. So just like when you came, you were like, who, and now you're like, hey, you're the man. At the SHOT Show, I remember first time I walked by one of the booths, I forget what it was, and you're like 20 feet tall on the booth. I'm like, shit. And this is odd. And that's me. I don't know how odd you felt. Of course, I'll be thinking, well, if he's 20 feet tall, that means he's got about a foot and a half long. Never mind. But, and then I started telling, that's my gun range right there. Yeah, stand behind the black guy shooting. That's my gun range. It was funny, man. It was funny. But we've had some fun times out there. I appreciate it.
I really honestly want to do this initial one just so people knew who you are, because we're going to have you back. There's so much shit that we have not talked about that we need to talk about, because it's just, we have years and years and years and years and years worth of shit.
Yeah, quite a few years. Yeah, quite a few years.
So, I'm not even, I usually am like, you're welcome back anytime. Nah, your wife will be back on here. But
well, I appreciate it.
I love you, man. I really.
Well, thank you very much. And because of you, I'm kind of gotten motivated that trying to go not a different direction, but market a different way on my gun range. So, I suck. Oh, I suck.
Gosh.
Oh, do I suck? I've got people come out the range going, why don't I know about this place?
Yeah.
I've been here 20 years, and I'm going to go ahead and eventually do a podcast out there. Yep. But I'm really just wanting to market the range, my training, some products that I've invented over the 30 years, and then some ammunition that hopefully is going to fit. Because I think like a mousetrap, you want to fix a problem, inventors, or whatever. So one of the problems that instructors always run across is the guns recoil too much for small-handed people, or the guns are too big for small-handed people. So by the time you get a gun that's small enough to fit a hand, the recoil is too big. Yeah. So that's one of the problems. So I'm going to try to approach that from an ammunition standpoint, and a couple other things, some springs and lighter slides and things like that. So and love to have you on and come on out and come back to old home school. Anyway, any other dying questions or whatever?
No, I already have a list of shit we're going to talk about next time you come back on. We'll talk about how you were the first person to teach me not to shoot the reset. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, that's
some of the things too.
There's a few things that big instructors differ on, and I guess I was lucky in some respect. Mainly, I'm self-taught. Mm-hmm. I did take a couple classes early on in my law enforcement days, and matter of fact, one of them asked me to be an instructor at the end of the class. So I guess I was doing well enough that they were like, "Hey, shit, let's bring this guy on," and that was Mid-South, and I have a lot of respect for that organization, Mid-South. They've sold and whatever, but. Started by another real shooter. Mm-hmm. Name escapes me. John Shaw. Yeah. John Shaw, and I think Shaw's son has started a gun range up north somewhere too. So obviously must be good. But so that's, you don't get a lot of the gun ranges that their owners are real shooters. Yeah. There was one here locally that the gun range owner shot his own counter with an Uzi, and we wouldn't even let him shoot with us in competition on his own range. No, we're going to get sued because you are going to blame us for letting you shoot with us. So, it's weird.
I will say this much before we end this. I'll say there are two people who I credit for kind of really perfecting a lot of my skill set. Now, the thing that sucks for me about to say this is because if I shoot horribly somewhere, everybody's going to know that they're the ones that taught me. But when it comes to handgun shooting, my skill set, by and large, is predominantly from the stuff I learned being out there with you. And it wasn't even like, hey, I'm going to teach you to shoot. You literally I'd be out there shooting, and you're just like, hey, try this, right? And then so I'm like, well, shit, don't just teach me the whole fucking bag. And so, and that's when it comes to handguns. Yeah, it's you. When it comes to rifle stuff, especially at kind of further out distances, I'm not going to say long distance. A lot of skill set with Buck Doyle. Yep. But
I heard a lot of good things about him.
Yeah, and so I definitely
Todd Hotnet, Buck. There's a lot of good guys. And matter of fact, one of the coolest compliments I ever got from a special forces guy was he said, "You're to pistols what Todd Hotnet was to rifles." Yeah, so that was really cool, especially
because Todd basically taught Buck
Oh, did he? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, Todd is a former competitive shooter.
Yeah.
And a pilot. And
I've never met him though. That's
I met him one time at an airport before he was like the man, and handlebar mustache. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, I'm going out to the SHOT Show to meet some people and talk about this new round and whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, good luck. Who knew that? It's like, man, this guy's gonna light it on fire. And so, but it's funny. It's funny that people have these ideas, and that they're mainly because they're taught that from the people that taught that from the people, and so nothing new and gets into their bag of knowledge or whatever. So it's regurgitating the same garbage. Law enforcement is really bad about that. Military is really bad about that on a lower level. Yeah. It's kind of sad. It's crap and not crap people. So people confused when I say it's crap with crap people. No, they just weren't given the opportunity to be trained by and worked with really good people and the ammunition budget they have. Yeah. And what's sad is the Delta guys, SEAL Team 6 guys, they get almost unlimited budgets. And then everybody else underneath that is stepchildren, especially the Marines. Oh, feel really bad about those guys, And I finally got a chance to work with those guys out at 29 Palms a while back. So that was cool. But yeah, I've enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely, God. So we'll have you back on. We'll definitely have you.
Cool,
back on.
Love to be here.
Thanks for coming.
All right, man. You take care.
Always.
All right.